Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, realizing my voice sounds way different as soon as I just started speaking out loud. I'm a little under the weather, and I didn't realize how drastically my voice sounded different until just now. Maybe it sounds the same to you guys. I don't know. Feels very different to me. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Bob Franklin. I don't even know what this is. OGP Luna. OG Luna. Maybe a silent P. What's up? And Clips, who I have to look at my other screen here to see what this this emoji is. Some sort of YouTube house clip. But anyway, Bob, Luna, and Clips on the podiums. Congratulations to you three. Thanks for coming in. Anion, what's up? Toby LTO is back, baby. We're gonna try it. I think we're gonna try it. So we're Strats, what's up? SR Monkey in the house. Bogdan finally able to join a live stream. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Thanks for coming in. Alex, hello. Stefan, Red or Dead. Glenn, Harry Trades in the house. D1872, hello. Scosmo, have we finally given up on other scarcities? Get out of here, Scosmo, with that. Get out of here. Rob C, afternoon, Laird. Limiteds to the moon. We'll see. Rui playing limited, Laird. Now you're playing with the best Sorare players. Ooh, I like that. I like that talk. Mikey Baston, what's up? Gareth also catching one live for a change. We love it. Are just people not working? Or what are you guys doing here? Pan G live stream. Let's go. Tuggy in the house. Graham some AMSR Laird. So not this is going to sound very arrogant, I guess, selfish, but I believe it was Chani commented once that my voice was like an ASMR voice, and I was on one of like the video, like an explainer video, and I think I might have been sick for that one also. And so yeah, I just honestly, like, I thought I sounded a little scratchy on Friday, and then over the weekend I sounded better. And to be totally honest, I haven't heard my voice in like 5 hours. Like, my kids go off to school and I basically just sit at home working, and I don't have a lot of meetings, so I don't talk out loud much, which is weird since you guys just happen to know me as the guy who talks on the screen all day. But yeah, as soon as I started talking, I was like, boy, that's not my voice. Ryan Walter, you buy in-season challenger and PSV shits the bed. Coincidence? Yeah, see, like, I didn't buy PSV. D Gamer Sock, good evening. Streams from a room, literally what I'm doing. Afternoon. There's a lot of new people here. This is awesome. This is awesome. Mike Basson, pre-Crimbo week off. Oh. You guys get the week off before Christmas also? Anyway. Rob said, it's a strictly limited only gallery. I do wish I played higher up, but I just love how accessible and cheap limiteds are. We'll get to that. Tom Jeffries, listening to the pod for the last few months, first time in the chat. Get in, Tom. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Puggy said, not supposed to RLT the throat. You might be able to, Tuggy. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know. Liam, what's up? Carrie, finally catching a live one, at least until the wife gets home. Oh, you guys don't watch this together? I figured that's what everybody did. Sat home, at least in the UK, because, nighttime, maybe a little pre-dinner Sorare Data Show. Why not? Yatsa, what's up? Oh, Mike's just not working this week. All right. That's fair. Philly Dilly in the house. All right. Now we can start. So on Friday, I explained a bunch of limited cards that I bought on Thursday. And if you haven't watched that show, shame on you. Or listened, I guess. But the whole idea with that show was I bought three collections that got me to 5% for 3 challenger teams, Ghent, Genk, and Utrecht, to join my Sparta Rotterdam one that I bought back in August, which has been a complete disaster. And I don't play limited competitions like they should be played. And it's mostly because I had old limiteds. At one point, I had a fairly extensive limited gallery, and I sold it all. And I bought a full Midtjylland collection last year, the 2023-24, and really haven't prioritized limited in a while. And I'm not saying that I am going to like make it my top priorities every week now, because I still play rare and super rare. I don't play super rare in season much. Not at all really with the European schedules. I had a few MLS ones for Challenger. But I do play rare in season, contender, challenger, and champ. And I'm going to keep doing that. But I'm also kind of going to branch out and try to take limited seriously for a number of reasons that all come back to content, to be honest. I don't want to sit here and pretend like I think that the biggest upside in this game is with limited. With the money that I have in the game right now, it's easier for me to get into limiteds because I started playing when they didn't exist, and they've always been a lower scarcity to me. Like, I'm going to be completely honest about it. But I also think there are tremendous ROI opportunities with in-season limited, which is absolutely harder than rare. And I'm going to try to do it. And we used to do a show on this channel for people who are newish called Limited Time Only. And that's basically what I'm going to do here. We're going to talk about limiteds, except I'm going to break my single rule of Sorare data content, and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing, because I don't think that theory crafting goes far enough. And I stole that phrase from Nepenthes, and I've decided to basically try it out. And I don't have an unlimited budget. I might have a budget that's bigger than other people who are just starting out, or not. And I'm not going to throw my entire budget that I have for Sorare at limited cards, and I'm not necessarily going to restrict myself to a certain dollar amount. I happen to play in dollars, but euros or pounds, whatever your preferred scarcity is. And I will probably continue to play at least classic competitions with some of my higher scarcity cards, just so I have a place to play them. But the focus now is on in-season limited competitions and where I go from here. And my hope is that as I work through what I'm trying to do, everybody who watches or listens reaches out and tells me when I'm being dumb and can help me. It's as simple as that. And when I mentioned earlier, where we used to have limited time only, that was a show with me and Gator Guy talking about limiteds, but ultimately we ended up just trying to have generic Sorare conversations that like included limited prices. And neither of us really took limiteds that seriously. And I also made sort of the argument, and I think the argument still applies, that people who play mostly rare or mostly super rare and have limiteds are people you have to compete against. And so focusing only on limiteds and only talking to people who play only limiteds only kind of it makes it's an unrealistic audience. So the reason why the reason why I always push back on like, oh, you should have people on who only play limiteds is people who only play limiteds are not just competing against people who play limiteds only. And excuse me one moment. Sorry, the dry throat we're going to have a lot of stops today. Anyway. So the idea of like, there are lots of people who only play limiteds. And I think that what everyone needs to understand is just because you only play limiteds doesn't mean that everybody you're competing against only plays limiteds. And so, but ultimately I took limiteds as like the other stuff. And I didn't necessarily believe that the ROI was good enough. And I'm wrong when it comes to in-season. I think I'm wrong, at least. And so I started to dabble in it a little bit previously. I bought a few cards from Tigres and Liga MX, and those got paid off literally instantly. And so the point of this show, and I don't know if it's going to be every Monday, but I do anticipate it to be every week, is just to walk through my process now for limited cards. specifically in season. I actually I want to take this as if I am starting now. And I don't think people who start today should play classic. I genuinely don't. And so if I wouldn't tell somebody to do that, then I'm not going to do it. I am still going to have classic limited lineups because I have cards previously that I'll just throw in because why not? But I'm not really going to focus on those. In fact, I probably won't even talk about them much in terms of what I'm doing now. Now, granted, maybe that changes if we end up getting a ton of in-season cards and now it's like, well, where do I play the rest? And I just play them in classic. But we'll talk about that. It'll all be part of this process. And so whether you're starting So Rare recently, you've started So Rare recently, whether you're thinking about starting it, I'm treating this as if I'm starting So Rare today and starting playing limited competitions, specifically in season. Now, I'll preface that by saying I know a lot about So Rare, obviously, because I've been playing for a long time. And so there are things that I'll probably do that maybe people who are just starting wouldn't do. That doesn't mean I'm right, but we'll just get through that. Man, I'm not sure how long I'm going with this sore throat or with this scratchy throat, but anyway, sorry. I went on one there. So let me get back to the chat. SD and Chill. That was actually I thought about that as a show title once, Tuggy, Sorare and Chill. In fact, it might exist. I think it was a Sorare Andrews. Let me see. It is. Excuse me. Man, we're struggling here. Here it is right here. The old one. 3 years ago. Sorare Andrews. Back on the RotoWire channel. Sorare Data and Chill. How about that? Sorare J says not listening to you on 1.5 speed is weird. Frankly, I might just be done in 1.5 minutes for how my throat is acting right now. Toby said popcorn, a few beers, Laird and Chill. There we go. There we go. Daniel, we're back talking about the greatest scarcity on Sorare. Why do you guys think it's the greatest? Honestly, as my eyes start to water because of. Goose said Sparta are horrible right now. They're actually horrible all season. It was one of the worst decisions I made in a while. D1872. I bought a limited stack of Ajax, AZ, and Peck. Is that Peck Zola starting in Division 5 in season and all to see how I get on? So that's the other thing. I'm not in Division 5. I was in 2, 3, 4 going into this game week. We'll look in to see how I'm doing. Spoiler, not well. Sean would for sure love doing this. Yeah, like it's not a show for Sean. He doesn't care about limiteds, and I understand why. Anyway, Toby's in. Love to see it. Raul, yes, I'm sick. Bob Flynn, limited is the best version of the game. Period. What makes it the best? Honestly, it's like embarrassing how much I'm coughing on this show right now. Whew. Rob said, after almost 3 years on Sorare, only playing limited, I feel like this season is the first season I've actually had a good plan and stuck to the plan. Sticking to the plan is the easiest thing to do, is the hardest thing to do, and the easiest success. Have a plan, stick to it, and you will succeed as long as the plan's good. Do you think low budget players should only play limited? As rare prices went down fairly well, what's your opinion? I think if you have the budget to play rare, you should also play it. Genuinely. Like if you're an expert in a certain league or team, like instead of branching out into leagues you don't know, I think it's better to go up a scarcity if it's limited to rare. Rare to super rare, I just don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Great idea for a show. Thank you, Bogdan. Anion, also Premier League and Bundesliga. So let me get into that in a little bit about how I'm attacking this. Ryan said, I've been here over a year. Sometimes I question if I've actually learned anything at all. Like, Ryan, you've probably learned so much that you just don't realize what you've learned. But there are just so many small intricacies of the game that just become second nature to you. and new people just like don't know that stuff. Rob said the biggest thing, excuse me, for limited is quality over quantity, but also getting the quality to high clean sheet. It honestly that's applicable to every scarcity. D1872. I started this season European Scottish Prem. I've made so many mistakes slash overspent, but now I've made a choice of how I want to play, and I'm having more fun. Yeah, that's the easy way. Easy way to do it. That's right, Andy Black. 3 years ago, just a couple chill guys talking about server data. Uh, Limited are good budget wise, but also easier for collections, which I like a lot. Tuggy caught me on the pyramid Freudian slip. Yeah, yeah. I've had hot tea with honey, and like it's not working. Or at least didn't. It's not working this second. I was gonna bring tea on like to sit here. I'm like tempted to just leave and come back and get some, but it's not working. Um, let's see here. All right. Goose said, referring to stick to your plan. What is your plan to stick to as a limited only player? I'm excited for this. Well, I'll talk about it. Tyler said, I was preaching Werder Bremen's 6-game window, and 2 weeks in, I'm paid off. That's awesome. I sound much worse than I feel, other than the constant now coughing and eyes watering, but whatever. Luke Jones, that's a cool name. I have the budget and cards to sell up and move solely into rare, but to actually be competitive is a different story. I also like playing everywhere I can, and at rare, that becomes a lot of money. Yeah, I would say just keep playing where you are. Like if I assume that you have the budget because you have been successful in what you're doing, and I don't I don't see a reason to stop what you're doing in order to try a new scarcity. Like if you can be successful enough and do both, then that I think that's obviously that's the goal. Ginger lemon, I'll try that. Mickey Fu said, I found it interesting that the GOAT QTN switched from rare to limited, maybe because of the amount you would risk in rare versus limited in the top players. Yeah, QTN I think is the limited GOAT right now. And I'm not saying I'm going to try to compete in that on that level. I genuinely don't want to. Like the upper end limiteds, obviously QTN has had a lot of success. I assume that they're profitable, but I'm not I'm not at the place right now where I want to spend like hundreds of dollars on like the top limiteds. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. Classic rare or in season limited. I think in season limited is better than classic rare. Mr. Trades was trying to convince me to move to rare. I think it excuse me, I think it's like the upside is obviously much higher at rare. The risk is higher, but like and again like I play in season rare. Like it's I'm not telling you that like playing rare is bad because that's what I do. I'm doing kind of the opposite of what most people are doing. A lot of people start at limited and they move up and I'm doing the opposite. Well, I'm not like moving to limited. I'm not getting rid of my rares to play limited at all. I'm adding limited into my gallery to like my portfolio of lineups every week. Like my goal is to have more lineups. It's not to like get out of rare and into limited. I'm not selling my super rares in order to buy limited cards. Like I'm not doing that. But I did find that the prices on limited cards are attractive enough for me to play around. And like that's how I'm going into this at first. It's I and it's not the what's the cheapest amount of money I can get to like get an ROI. I don't want to necessarily have a $10 lineup and see how far that gets me. Like there's no specific number, but there are numbers to a point where I'm just not sure I get that money back. And I'm like, we're doing this on December 16th. Excuse me. And so we have like 5 months left basically of the European season. And so like I don't know if buying a PSV stack at this point of the season makes sense. And from a from a monetary standpoint, I didn't think it did, which is why I didn't do it last week. Toby said, I like the strategy of going for the cheaper collections of good teams. I mean, that's hopefully what I'm doing. And I don't necessarily want to copy what I'm doing in rare, but I might. Yeah, this coughing is crazy. I try to mute myself every time I cough. And so with people watching this realize this, but if you're listening and you just hear constant pauses, it's because I'm coughing. So we'll do it. Daniel said, I doubt I'll be moving to rare until I have a great gallery across the game. Right now, I'm only good in Prem and MLS. I think that's fine. I think that's great. I think that's what you should be doing. Are you planning on running mostly stacks, or what's the game plan? All right, we'll get into that right now. But first off, what is up, Quinny? So the whole review of Friday's show, which again, like I think if you're interested in this topic, I went through a very long explanation of how I ended up with 5% collections of Ghent, Genk, Utrecht, and Sparta Rotterdam. Now, Sparta Rotterdam, I started up in August because I was like, I thought PSV was too expensive, AZ were too expensive, Feyenoord were too expensive, wanted a European team, went with Sparta, absolute disaster. They've been horrible this season. I'll take blame. If you guys want to blame me for it, that's fine. So one of the reasons why I went with Challenger, and I'm going to do Challenger and Contender, is because I'm a long-standing Sorare player who really never played Champion seriously. And the kind of game dynamics of single league competitions like the Prem or Bundesliga or La Liga are less in my gaming expertise than Challenger and Contender. And really Contender is where I thrive, which I know is not what like how a lot of people want to play. Like if you were like, oh, I just was hoping for Prem, like I get it. I'm not going to do that right now. I won't rule it out in the future because we'll see like how far this goes. But the plan is to start in Challenger and Contender. And the way that I play Contender is going to be very different, I think, than a lot of other people do. And we'll go from there. So let's see. Rob said, I'm still waiting since the summer for Salzburg pictures to get my 5%. Where that's just from people coming in. Tyler said, Bundesliga was awesome for a game week while Bayern were bad. Almost like how balanced the Prem is without City and Arsenal smashing. Yeah. Yatsa said there's enough content for Prem already. I mean, I get why people do it. And if I branch out of Challenger and Contender, I'm guessing I will go to Champ and not one of the single leagues. There just feels like it's almost like the gap is too hard to make up at this point of the season. And I don't feel that way when Challenger and Contender have so many more players that are able to like get bigger scores. Mike said, question I meant to ask Friday, would you still have considered this without the Christmas promotions with additional chance at a special edition cards, thus easier, cheaper collection bonus? Mike, the honest answer is no. I would not have done this. And we wouldn't be here talking today about a brand new weekly show that I'm going to do specifically about limited cards without that special. And so today's special is, what is it? Buy one, get a 20% chance at another card. That's not like guaranteed enough for me to buy Contender cards. And also because, and this is something I don't really want to talk about publicly because I don't want other people to take advantage of this, but I'm going to play Contender with non-European cards as much as I can. And I really hope that Sorare realized that the new Argentina season starts in January and we get early access cards at some point, because they've long kind of had, I assume they've had like wonky contract timings with the Argentinian teams, but But the new season starts in January, and I'm hoping that we'll have in-season cards soon. But like Argentina, Mexico, Japan, like that's probably where I'll focus my J League attention over the next few months. I mean, what did I say? Contender attention? Is that what I said? Sorry. Bogdan said, I actually like contender challenger content. I find them overwhelming with so many leagues and games and players. So the reason why I like them is because of all of those teams and leagues and players. It really benefits additional scouting and finding players. Like in the Prem, there are only like so many players that'll score 80 points in the game week. And the when you don't have them, like you're just dead. And so many people have Prem cards now that it's like it's hard to catch up now. And so the reason I like the other leagues, contender and challenger, is because there's so many more players, there are more opportunities to make up those, that 80-point score. Ryan said, League MX said they're switching up their season setup, whatever that means. They said they won't stop for Leagues Cup. Yeah, I hope so. It also starts in like a month. Rob said, I love contenders as you learn so many new players and find yourself becoming a fan of them and following their careers. It's great. Agreed. Totally agree. Bob said, Sora has shifted over the last year. Football is no longer a fun and exciting game to play, whereas the overall gameplay, rewards, setup, and promotions for NBA and MLB is exponentially better. Like, I'm a hard disagree on that, Bob. I find the football product still very, very fun. In fact, I would argue that the NBA product, my pushback on the NBA product is just timing. Like, I just don't have the time I don't have the appropriate hours to put into NBA. And so I feel like I'm very behind on it. More teams to beat you as well in contender, though, says Luke. Yeah, so like I agree with that, but like I believe that I can find enough of the right players in the right matchups each game week to be competitive. Whereas I feel like when you're, if you don't have, and I was gonna say, if you don't have like the best players in the Prem, then you're kind of dead. But you're not, as we've seen, people are winning it. But I find it to be much harder to do it. That to go into the Bundesliga every game week without Bayern Munich or like without Dortmund, and you're just like, or without Leverkusen, and you just feel like you're very, very much stuck behind people with those cards. NBA with L10 changing so often with everything capped isn't fun for me. So like Tyler says that. Like I get that. I get that. It's harder to like really look ahead because of the L10s. Ryan said, I think the football product is fun because of leagues in multiple countries and football is more fun. The product for NBA is better, but I can't be asked. So there's probably another one somewhere. I think I think each product is very good. The MLB product is awesome. I think it's literally the best one. But I'm also more willing to put the time in for football. Halligan said, I wonder how it would go buying collections of the best 10 teams in the Prem and playing the best matchups every week. Yes, you would be wasting a lot of cards, but Southampton every other week. Yeah, I don't think that's like, you probably don't need the top 10, but it's also going to be very expensive. Like if you got, collections from Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United. Like, do you need more than that? I feel like I'm missing somebody good, but I don't even pay attention to the Prem. Liam earlier said, I think in-season contenders being slept on. The cash prizes are good and the cards are a lot cheaper. I've moved into it myself. So Liam, that's exactly what I did. And I did that a little while ago. And yeah, I finished second in contend. Like I won $1,000 in-season rare with cards that I spent like $40 on. Like the upside is just so much higher in terms of ROI when you can compete with cards like that. Let me see if I can pull that lineup up. Is this it? Here. So here's contender for you. This is game week 496. So I came in second in Division 2 contender with Franco Armani and Paulo Diaz from River Plate. They do have in-season cards. Cecina, who also has in-season cards. Now, granted, this is a rare classic lineup. None of these were in season at the time. And then I had Wendell and Douglas Santos from Zenit. No in-season cards. So you will never see an in-season lineup with both Douglas Santos and Wendell. So this lineup won Ezekiel Unsane from Necaxa. He's the goalie. The car was like $50. Now, $50 for a first place is kind of a bummer, but that's contender for you. I'm trying to remember now when. I should just look up Unsane. Let's see where. So this lineup that I had that won. Game week 510, which doesn't really exist, but I think is just game week 9. If I do my math right, which I did. Yeah. So second in contender in season. This was $1,000 at the time. I took it in ETH and is now worth 1,720. Maybe it was 1,500 if I actually take that back. 1,500. So I have this Unsane, and I know this is a limited show, but let me just get through this. Alan Montez I bought for $12. I have this Pallavicino jersey mint that I got for, let's call it 17. I'm just going to cut this deal in half because I got a David Martinez jersey mint as well. Those were in-season cards. Facundo Colidio from River Plate, $38, let's call it. And I had this Jose Paradella classic card that I bought for 17. So what was that? $60 total? $60 to win 1,500 sounds pretty good, right? So I did what any good upstanding Sorare player would do. And I bought all of these in limited also. I haven't won a thing. But I'm working on a Necaxa. Like this was the stack I had. Unsane, Montez, Paradella, Pallavicino. Colidio doesn't play for Necaxa. And honestly, Liga MX forwards are really bad. So the question is now, like, do I complete this collection? All of these cards and what we have on Sorare data are like the real floor prices, but the instant buys, I believe, for all of them are like $1. Genuinely. Like Tigres Limited's the most expensive is Juan Brunetta. I'm sorry, not Tigres. I'll get to Tigres in a second. Sorry. Now, these haven't been auctioned in forever, and it's driving me nuts. And they're 2024 cards that are going to be good until May. But anyway, like Unsane is $2. Pallavicino, 188. I don't even know where Paradella is. 104. Like, oh my God. I wish I wasn't talking about this. I'm just giving the answers away. Sorry, now people are telling me that you shouldn't get Necaxa cards, but they're telling you that. Malky said, I think a lot of people are put off by contender essence. People don't want to save a lot of essence to most likely a worthless card, which is an acute problem in contender. So there's two things. One, I totally agree that contender essence and crafting contender cards suck. The other thing is there's so many people who are complaining that you don't even get enough essence anyway. Like I'm not even like, I don't care about essence. It's not that I don't care, but like it takes me so long to get enough essence to craft cards, particularly a good one. I craft it level 5 every time. Like it is what it is. And for the purposes of the in-season returns on limited cards, I really only care about the cash. I'm not here competing for boxes. I'm here to compete for cash. That's what we want. Luke said, I think for someone of your knowledge on the platform, you could smash the Prem most weeks like Nepenthes. I mean, I don't know. Dean said, it looks like you are bored with Sorare. That's why you're buying limiteds. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. If I was bored, why would I buy more? Rob C said, do you like watching soccer? Did you like watching soccer before Sorare? I Coached in the States for a while and find genuine soccer fans was a rare occurrence. Football is getting more popular in the States now. But to be honest, the only reason why I started following football was because of my old job, which was doing soccer, fantasy soccer content as well at RotoWire. But I did not like as of like 10 years, let's call it 12 years ago. I knew absolutely nothing about professional football. Nothing. I'd watch the World Cup final, have no idea who any of the players were. But now I know a little bit. Tyler said lower card values hurt card rewards in essence, but the buy-in is technically lower. So like I don't actually care about card values either in this endeavor. And I think if you're starting out and you're buying cards to win cash, you shouldn't care about them either. What you should care about is how much it costs you to make competitive lineups to win cash. I'm not thinking about flipping cards. I'm not thinking about how much my card values are coming back. If I spend $100 and I win $75, but my cards are now worth 50 or they're worth 0, like it is what it is. I still have the cards. I'll keep playing them in classic competitions when they're not in season anymore. But that generally means that I was not good enough in the game. Like that's how I'll look at it. If I don't win the money back and then win on top of it, I didn't play the game well enough. And not everybody is going to be able to do that, to win more than they put in. Like that's how the game is going to work from now on. There was a time where like everybody won, and that's why they had to change it because it was a completely unsustainable game. Luke said 10 games in the Prem, you need to nail one game like Spurs yesterday, and you're in good money. Challenger and contender have so many games going on that most game weeks, random people pick up huge scores. Yeah, I think the downside for the Prem is that it's harder to win. I genuinely think it's harder to win starting out now in the middle of the season, particularly in limiteds. Excuse me. Gia said you didn't mention K-League when you talked about waiting for new season cards and J-League. Does that mean Sorare might not have K-League for next season, or do you just hate K-League so much? So I don't hate the K-League. I have no reason to think that Sorare would drop the K-League, but I do also know that their data provider doesn't score matches just like the Prem, just like everyone else, like Opta. And so I don't like there are a few random players that probably score well. I don't have enough K-League cards to justify getting more of them, if that makes sense. And so I just the knowledge gap that I don't know anything about the K-League. It's very difficult for me to follow it regularly because I don't speak Korean, and I don't like relying on like a single Patreon to give me all the information that I hope to get. And it's part of the reason why I don't do the much J League either. Like I have a Cecina card. I bought one recently, but like I'll get that. I don't know how many J League cards I'll buy, to be honest. I'm more of a Liga MX, Argentina Superliga guy, but I have some J League cards like previously, and there are like a few players that maybe I'll get, but yeah, I don't know. So no, that was not like a slight against the K League. It's just like I don't think I'll buy cards from like the Croatia or Austria. Nothing against those leagues. I don't think that's where I personally have like an advantage over other people. Philly Dooley said, if you're saving for a tier 0, 1, or 2, the essence is a grind. Yeah, I don't even think about it. D1872 said, assuming we will be getting a League Un next season as they have most or all teams now. They have all teams, but it's not a league license, so I don't know if they'll do it. Malky said, I agree with that, but for most people, this is me talking about boxes, the likelihood will be boxes. Regular cash will be difficult, I think, but happy to be proved wrong. So I'm not expecting to win like regular cash every game week. Like I assume I will win boxes most game weeks, and they'll pile up and I'll craft and we'll see what happens. But I don't think you necessarily need to be winning cash regularly. It's just like when you win the cash, it's got to be worthwhile. Dean said, I'm getting bored, so I'm trying to get more lineups, aka try to make more exciting and make more content. I mean, it's literally my job. So like making more content is, I'm just working here. Tyler said, it's crazy how easy it is to watch in the US. We can buy ESPN Plus and get all La Liga, Bundesliga, and Eredivisie. Don't they have Jupiler also? Like it's significantly easier to watch football in the US, to watch in like non-American domestic leagues. You can watch probably every game, yeah, in England or like, in the Prem, La Liga, Bundesliga, Eredivisie, Jupiler. With Paramount, there's like Argentina and they had something else big. Serie A maybe. Like, yeah, it's easy to watch. It's easier to watch football like than it is to watch like the American sports at this point. I mean, it's probably just as easy. Yeah, and you can stream all the games on Peacock in the US. Tyler said, however, Bundesliga is 5x a better watch than La Liga. Oh, for sure. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up here. Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga has more accessible information, leading to more informed players vying for rewards versus contender leagues. So that's exactly it, JT. Like the knowledge gap is small in those leagues. And I'm not saying that like I'm some sort of Argentinian expert here, but I'm more confident in my ability to get information that some people just may not want to get. And so, yeah, that's it. Rob said, I only play contender. I'd say I win the small amounts regularly and the decent amounts probably every 3 to 4 weekends. Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. Malky said, I missed the start of the show. Are you also buying new collections for contender? So I think my contender collections are starting with Liga MX, particularly with Tigres and Necaxa, and we'll see from there. Those leagues return in like mid-January. I probably will not play contender before that because there's just not much going on. I know SPFL is like packed during the winter period, during the Christmas period, but I'm just not sure the prize pools are going to be big enough to justify the spend when I probably don't want to use those cards after the Christmas period. I said something roughly a year ago about that league, and it applies to this day, that I think we're going to see prices of those cards increase over the next 2 weeks because people are buying them because they're playing. And then they're going to get to January and be like, why do I have all these cards? And then they're not going to be, outside of Celtic, they're just not going to be competitive in contender. I genuinely believe that. So for those who are, who did not see Friday's show, these are the 4 collections that I'm working on here: Utrecht, Ghent, Sparta, and Genk. I'm sorry, I literally saw Genk and said Ghent, and then vice versa. So the one thing that I'm debating, and I genuinely think it's a bad idea, which is why I haven't done it, is there are a few like one-off players that I've gotten limited cards for, and I don't know if they're worth building collections around. And so like one of these players is Doguchan Haspelat, who a bunch of people on this, if you guys watch regularly, like that I really like this guy. And it's like one of those scouting doesn't pay off, but like I genuinely believe this one does. So like I bought his in-season rare for $18.25 back at the last day of July. And his price has kind of fluctuated. He's gotten as high as $62, which is absolutely wild. Last sale, $31. And I bought this card because I was like, he took all set pieces for Westerlo. And I haven't won like a lot with him, but I've placed 3 times in cash competitions. I finished 17th in Challenger, 17th, 22nd, and 38th. I don't know the divisions. We don't have them in here for some reason. But $147 in total gaming yield. And he was responsible based on the points that he scored in each lineup for $41 and change. And that's pretty good for 18 bucks. And so I bought his in season or his classic for $5.97. And then I also bought his limited. There's so many of them, I don't even know where it is. But this one has not been as prolific. I think I've won, $10. And Ricomon has this great point here. Hasbulla is amazing, but too bad the rest of the team isn't great. And so that's sort of where I go with this. It's like, is it worth me building out the Westerlo collection to get Hasbulla to 5% collection bonus with all of these like absolute clown players that I'll never play in lineups? Like he's probably the only one that I genuinely would want to play. And like realistically, like they're bad. They're bad. And I actually started doing some a mini rare collection of Westerlo as well to help that Hasbulla card. But Victor said Vuskovic is amazing. Yeah, I mean the two center backs. It's weird for a team that's so bad defensively. The two center backs are actually quite good. Vuskovic and Bayram, who I think is a Harry Trade's favorite. Yeah, because he's under 23. Like they're probably great. The funny thing is that their goalie, well, it was Sinan Bolat. Now it's Nick Gillikens. I guess. Who else did they have? Kian van Langerdonk. Like these guys are terrible, genuinely. So it's like, do I build out the collection for Westerlo? And it just feels ugly to me. Like, look at the prices of these versus that Necaxa one. But anyway, like Vuskovic, 1367. Ugh. And like, do I want to buy all of these? And again, we could go to the secondary market, but to get to 5%, which is sort of the point, we got to do instant buys because I don't think there are that many auctions. The auctions take too long anyway. Of course they have. Oh, it's only 4 today. Man, I don't want to buy these. But anyway, Tyler said 2 to 3% boost max. I did this for one of my players like Andre Santos when it was 50% special cards. So that's smart. I have a Santos rare that I probably should. I bought some like rookie cards to help him, but that was a rare one. Andrea said, I think if is even 2 useful players, getting to 2 to 3 is nearly always worth it. I got to 3% this week with Strasbourg, and I'm currently third by 0.2 points with Santos. Maybe. Dan said, your gallery is going to look so ugly with all those limiteds. I don't know. I think they're kind of nice. That's like gold color. I mean, my gallery is already filled with them. Nothing different here. I think they're fine. So players like that, like Hasbulla, like do I spend resources to get players like that who I think are good scorers on their own, but not necessarily otherwise? And so like the Utrecht collection that I built is 3 players deep realistically of like who I would play. And I played them this weekend, this current game week, and they were a disaster. Absolute disaster. So just looking at my challenger in season, in Division 2. So again, I had 2, 3, and 4. Division 2, I did against stack basically with Angel Di Maria of Benfica, who didn't start. So they went 1-1 against Circle Bruges. Was this a late goal? I feel like did I get a notification that? Yeah, so I did. So I got the notification that Davy Roof had the clean sheet, and then Denke scored in the 71st to ruin it. And I believe Sven Combs was given an error led to goal, which they then removed. And like nobody scored. Well, there's some good scores here, I guess, for 1-1. And Dean said when MLS starts, those cards are going to tank so hard. Maybe we'll just add MLS cards. Do you mean tank like value-wise or tank like they won't score well enough? Because that I completely disagree with. Oh, the other thing. So yeah, so that was Division 2. Division 3, I went with the Utrecht stack, which was a total disaster because they gave up 3 goals. They gave up a goal very early on and then gave up 3 despite being up a man for most of the game, which is not great because obviously I did a full defensive stack here. El Korani, who's the reason I built the collection, scored very well despite giving up 3 goals. And then Jashari and Stoikers were like, okay. Stoikers wasn't good. Jashari was okay. And then in Division 4, I went Nick Olai and then more of the Ghent guys, and then Jacob Briam, who scored in against Utrecht. Like I wasn't going to play him with Barkas. Mike said the Comes Arrowhead goal totally should stand. Made a blind pass across the box that was intercepted. I think Black slipped Optus some money. Well, that's fine as long as it's Black's money and not mine. So what's the irony of Briam scoring is I considered a go-ahead collection to boost him and went with Utrecht instead, who he then like scored against just to slap it in my face. But even if I had done like I probably wouldn't have played Plogman, but like there were some decent scorers from go ahead. But I don't know. I was more realistically looking at Ajax. So that's the idea for, or that's what happened this game week. If I remember correctly, 2 of these won boxes. I don't know why we don't have, well, we'll have boxes on the newly designed results page. But let me just pull it up on my phone here. So the Division 4 team, this one, is in line for a box. I was 89 points short of winning $4. Oops. And Division 2, I will win a box from this one, even though Di Maria didn't play. Or didn't start, excuse me. That one was so far from cash, I can't even tell. 93 points from cash. I mean, it scored 250 points. I don't know what I would be expecting. And then, yeah, the Division 2 won nothing. But they all stay in their divisions. Nobody got promoted, which is, not overly surprising because I didn't really have that many good scores. But the fun thing is we get to roll Ghent right into the midweek. And I can't remember. So I did make this lineup, and you'll see that I have my other ones. But essentially, this is the European Conference League limited in season. Ghent play, I don't even know who they play, some weird badge. They're 81% chance to win. And then I'm pairing them with Inge Ingeson, which, again, if I was just starting out, this feels like cheating, but I have this card from my Midtjylland collection last year, and he's a huge favorite at home. I don't know if I'll start Max Dean. Andy Black has been really trying to get me not to play him because I believe he called him a walking big chance missed. But if I don't play Dean, I can play Surdez. I have a bunch of Magnus Matson cards that will not see the light of day. But Rob said they play Larna, which he says that with a laughing emoji as if I should know who that is. So we'll see. Zhao said the problem for me with Argentinian cards in January is it seems that every player wants to leave every year, and for Brazil, Mexico, MLS, Europe, those players are cheap. I mean, they stick around for a little bit. But anyway, I don't know. I'll play again forward here. I don't know if I'll play Ola because he might be hurt. And I do have a Tebow Summers that somebody, was it Ryan Walter gave that to me? So we'll see. Deanne is trying to jinx us here with maybe a cheeky Ghent rotation on midweek. I don't think Schmidt is going to play, but I mean, he could. And those are things that like you deal with when you have stuff like this. But all the cards that I bought, they're the only ones. Ghent's the only one playing this midweek. And then looking ahead to the weekend, ta-da, if we go to Challenger in season, and anybody who is a Sorare Data Star member can move game weeks ahead in the lineup builder, and you can build all the way up to the end of, or almost mid-January, I'll call it, mid to late. But let's see, I'll even put the scarcity filter on to make it easier for us. So of the 4 teams that I have collections for, we have Ghent, who are away to, who is that? Oh, Standard Liège, yeah. Sparta are at home against Ajax. I doubt I'll play that. And Utrecht are at home against Fortuna. That seems very favorable. And I don't have a Van Crombrugge. So the Genk matchup, they're home to Anderlecht. I probably wouldn't play him anyway. So at least from my top lineup, which is in Division 2, and again, this is Monday, things can change, but I'll play Barkas. I'll play El Croani because I just always play him. We have Haspelot at home against Mechelen, which is like the lock of all locks for me, like this whole season. Di Maria is playing against Estoril. They play midweek in a match that is being replayed after the first one was stopped for fog. So I'm actually not going to put him in the lineup right now because I don't know if he plays midweek, whether he'll definitely play on this weekend. So we'll put in Jacob Briam, and then we kind of have our picks here. Mats Kurler is another player that it's like, do I want to build a Heerenveen collection to get his collection score higher? And yeah, Ryan Walters was the Thibaut Summers. Thank you for that. And so, we're left with this. Go ahead, have is that NAC Breda? Where did that go? Yeah, who've been better, but look at this run that Briam is on. The guy is such a goat. Anyway, so we have these guys, and then we kind of have our picks here. We could take one of the Genk guys if we want. I mean, if Di Maria plays, this seems like an extremely competitive lineup. I would argue that all 4 of the outfield players could be captained, and you wouldn't give me a hard time for it. So we'll see. I'll probably do Haspelot, to be honest, but I'll do Briam just for the content here. And I don't know if I'm going to do this every week in terms of showing off which lineups I'm going to build, what lineups I'm going to play. But what I will say is I have every intention of playing my best players in the highest division every game week, regardless. And so if I get to Division 1 and my best cards just don't have great matchups that weekend, I think I'll still try to play them in Division 1 just to ensure that I get the maximum upside in terms of return if something happens and it pays off. Agent Cooper said, I know limited Challenger Classic is probably the toughest competition, but I think these collections will be good for you next season. I don't even want to think about next season. Watanabe Stoikers with collection bonus will be competitive. They could be, sure. It definitely could be competitive, but I don't want to think about next season now. Who knows where these guys will even be. So Sparta against Ajax feels a lot worse than Genk away. I also am somebody who's a total goalkeeper, defender, donkey. You will almost never convince me that it's better to split them. I've done it before. I literally did it this past game week with that lineup with Olai. And it's mostly because I hate Sparta so much. And Olai's AA isn't bad. Even when they concede, 50 points while he conceded is pretty good. And I don't think any of the defenders scored well anyway. Yeah, I have this Mike Irdizhusen or whatever his name is. Oh, Bakari scored well. I would have never played Bakari. 9-1 in duels. 3 intercept. Oh, he had a triple, 3 tackles, 1. Yeah. I bet that's the first time he's been over 80 in 10 years. Maybe literally he's never been over 80 in the last year. And he's been over 80, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times ever before yesterday. So yeah, I'm not going to give myself a hard time on that one. Where were we? Here we go. Mike, I am prepared to risk D1 relegation with any lineup. Absolutely. So do we trust the Genk attackers? Or actually, sorry. I like this Delorge Sniper. That guy's a beast. So do we like Genk at home against Anderlecht? The odds say that they should be good. Anderlecht have been pretty good defensively. I know I'm not going to trust Patrick Fluke, even against Westerlo, which feels great. So we have Stoikers, and I'm not sure I trust. Actually, to be honest, I wonder if should we get Van Crombrugge now? I think it was $13. They didn't have they have a tough one after this, right? Yeah. So home against Anderlecht, away to Antwerp, and then it gets much easier. Let's see. $8.78. $8.78. That can't be right. We said feels like a game you stack and hope for the best. Is there something like wrong with this card? Obviously, it's not like a. I don't need the special edition because I already have the 5%. Let's do it. Now it's $9. Oh, excuse me. Guess can't show you my password. Ah, stupid authenticator. So I'm glad you brought this up. Who was that? Luke. Well, let me finish buying this card. This wasn't supposed to be part of the content, but here we are. All right. HVC special edition is in. Not a neon, but it's okay. Luke said you can use one classic card in season if you have any worthy of using. Live buying, we're big time now. Yeah. So the nice thing about this card is after the transfer, it's on level 4. It's at 837 XP. So this card's at 12% for us this weekend. 12%. So actually, let's go back now. Do we rather go with a Genk stack in this lineup instead of Ghent? I wonder if this is showing up. Not showing up yet. Now, again, there are no pick scores or anything because because it's not the game week's not open yet. Deanne says buy more cards. Deanne just loves the idea of just buying more cards and sinking more into this. But it is what it is. All right. HVC show up yet? Not yet. All right. I mean, I guess we could just build it without that card. I don't think that matchup is better than the Utrecht one from a defensive standpoint. Hold on, let me get limited here. Mike Basson said HVC injury and training and out for the season incoming. Hashtag curse of Laird. I have a HVC super rare. So like I'm already cursed. He sucks, by the way. That's not a nice thing to say. I'm sorry. But still. Deanne said, just don't buy Necaxa, K-League, and SPFL. I literally won we're podium to competition with Necaxa. We went through this already. Anyway. Harry Trades always tells me that the Genk midfielders, like, what's his name? Hainan are like good. And I'm just not there. So what we could do, like I don't want to play any of these guys. Ironically, Stoikers has old midfielder cards. So what if we just combine them? What if we do what feels really, really bad? And to be honest, I don't feel bad at all. But what if we combine Genk and Ghent? We have Bruges away to USG, which is a pretty tough matchup. Is there anyone else we want to play? Oh, I guess we could do as long as they keep. There's HVC. There we go. So that seems pretty fun. Van Krombruge, Smets, Stoikers, and Kayembe from Genk, and then Matthias Delorge Sniper from Ghent. Yeah, Gegenk. Yeah. The smart thing here now is do we put both teams to score bet with Anderlecht Genk or just Genk to lose? No, I'm just kidding. So that's the idea for this weekend. That's the lineup. Our second lineup. Yeah, so these are the two. I don't think that there's any reason to play like the Genkai attackers together. I guess I only have Stoikers. So that's that one. So that's 2 and 3. And then again, we're not getting promoted this game week, unfortunately. But now, wait, what did we play? Barkus. Oh yeah, Van Kronbrouge, right. And so now we can play Ghent in the other one. Rofe, Watanabe. Let me go back to limited. So the reason why, who was it before was talking about that I could buy the Luke. Says you can use one classic. So the reason I don't want to buy classics, and I'll even go back. What was the floor on Van Kronbrouge? So I bought this one for $8. What did we $9 by the end, and the floor for the classic was $7.50. So I spent an extra $1.50. But buying a classic Van Kronbrouge means that card that I'm buying has no chance of collection bonus from the collection that I'm buying, and so I'm going to end up buying a less powerful Van Kronbrouge. And what did we say? It has 12% now? The one I bought? Yeah, 12%. Let's see how many in-season Van Kronbrouge cards there are that have 12% already. So there are, let's see, 455 total in-season Van Kronbrouge right now. How many of them have more than 12%? 80. Oh, actually, I have 12. So it's really how many are 12 and a half and higher? 61. So only 61 of the 450 Van Kronbrouge limiteds out there in season are more powerful than mine. And even if we take it off, let's say everybody just uses everyone with a limited Van Kronbrouge classic and end season plays it in this competition. There are only 77 limiteds that are more powerful than mine. It seems like a very big advantage that I have from a card I bought 5 minutes ago. Luke was saying if I had any before, because I thought I had the in season. Yeah, I'm going to try to not do that, to like use older cards just because they fit. Like I have an old Nico Mantle, but I mean, I actually was going to play it this weekend and then didn't because I don't remember why. But we'll see. The 1872 said, "Morals don't win cash. I'm now putting Rangers Celtic teams out." That's a great line. That is a really good one. Let's finish this lineup just here. It'll actually be funny to see. I'll check back on this to see if like the pick scores are way different. But like I think Gandelman is probably the call here. He's just been on kind of a heater. So here's a good example of a card that I have. Tom Hay is like stopped starting, which is kind of a bummer. That was a weird sentence, stop starting. But it is what it is. I don't think anybody from Sparta are good enough. I can confirm they're not. Who knows if Sven comes starts. Karetsas probably doesn't start. Yeah, there's nobody here that I want to play. So the options were basically Gandelman. I have this Clint Lehmans, who's been very good actually for Breda, whatever. Or we go with another one of the Genk guys. Did I not buy Hainan? I guess not. That's funny. He was probably just not even worth it. Like I didn't need it for the collection. Let's see. I mean, he didn't show up, so I assume I didn't. Genk. Now I could just go out and get one now, and he'll get the 5% bonus because, yeah, here he is. $4.44. That doesn't even seem worth it to me. Oh, there is an auction right now. So like here's a quick explanation of like people trying to sell cards. For a .0001 or a 30 7-cent difference, I'm always buying the Neon Christmas card right here. Instant buy, $4.81. I don't even have market credits. And I'm always going to buy this card over one of these two. Like level 4 XP for this card is not worth it for me. Now, if it was somebody like Stoikers, that's a different story. But Heynen, that's not enough for me. And I'm not going to buy that card. We'll stick with Gandelman. The forward's always going to be a tough one. Like I have an old Berghuis. Romney doesn't even start anymore. This might be our struggle spot right here. Unless Fluke comes back in. I would start him. Division 4. We just want to get out of Division 4, right? Jashari's been pretty good. Veergiver, do we think Utrecht hold a clean sheet? Probably, to be honest. Holsager, if he takes sets again. Let's go here for now. I mean, I would 100% play Kohler if he started. Like if I knew he was back. And then, I don't know. We may have to panic buy somebody so that we're not playing. Well, I guess Negli. Oh, not against Ajax. He didn't even start. What a frustrating card that's been. Or we play one of the Ghent or, well, yeah, we could play Max Dean, I guess. I have a Nacho Ferry from earlier in the season. He's away to Beer Shot. That's not bad. It's like two of the worst teams in the history of football. I don't know. We'll go with Dean for now. We always captain Watanabe. Always. And that's it. That's what we have on a Monday for next weekend. Now, Ghent play probably Thursday, so who knows what happens. Lots of this can change. Maybe I'll look into this again on Friday. I don't know if I'll do like a stream talking about these cards before the game week instead of after. I might just try to get to some free Ghent advice from people in the chat, but we'll see. Server said, have you considered buying one or two more Jupiler League goalkeepers? Like this week, I feel like you'd be better off playing a Tobe Layson in goalkeeper because of the small CS chance in all of your matchups. Meaning you're talking about this current game week surface? Like next game week, I think they're pretty good. Who does Layson have? Layson is, who did he have this game week? Home against Charleroi, and he got a pen save and a clean sheet. And then, sorry, I thought I was sharing. Then they're away to Cercle Bruges, home against Beer Shot, and then at Genk, at USG, home against Ghent. Oof. To answer your question, Surface, probably not. I don't think I'll end up buying cards that I can't build collections around. I think having that extra 5% and even 3%, let's call it, Leuven, is really important. And so and not to say that this Leuven collection is expensive. Like Layson's $20. Banzuzi is $4. Akimoto is $2. And everyone else is cheaper than $2. And there are, what was that, 5 across? 5, 10, 15, 20, 23 cards in the collection. And I don't think that's worth it. And building and buying an older Layson has way less XP and no way for me to realistically catch up. Server said, I think you need more variance though for now because you're behind on XP. I'm not behind. I just showed that. Like I'm not that far behind on XP. Like literally every single card I bought on Friday is at least 10%. And I'm not full stacking. Like I'm stacking Ghent this midweek because it's like, that's what I have. I don't care. Like I literally, like midweeks are just so nothing for me at this point. And a lot of that is because like a lot of cards I have just don't play midweeks other than all of the Argentina cards, but that's just a disrespect that we'll talk about on another show. But like, I think from like looking at these lineups, I don't think there are going to be many people playing this exact same lineup. And I would guess that like my total XP is high, total percentage bonuses are higher. The one that kind of sticks out is Di Maria. Like that, I bought this card for game week 45, and buying a Benfica collection feels like the opposite of what I'm trying to do here. Of like, let me just go buy I looked into it, but like a Benfica collection is not cheap. I know that's shocking to a lot of you. But like 67 for Trubin, 31 for Thomas Araujo, Acturgalu's 20. Like, I'm literally going in with these collections where so many of the cards are less than $2 and thinking that I can not. And again, is my lineup going to be better if I had Di Maria, Acturgalu, Trubin, Kirkchu, excuse me, Otamendi? Like, yeah, sure. It's also going to take me a lot longer to return from them, especially because I still don't have a Division One lineup. Michael said, "What's the thinking of this new journey?" It's I talked about it at the beginning. Apologies if you just came in, but like it's in the beginning. Luke said, "Join Quinny at 1 p.m. Friday for the deadline stream if that fits into your schedule." So not only does the Quinny deadline stream fit in my schedule, it's like that's part of my schedule, is literally like watching that stream. And so I'll do that anyway. I'm not going to join them to like look through my lineups. That show is perfect. They don't need me coming around, unless you meant just watching it, in which case I'll be doing that. I just realized the coughing like went away like a while ago, I guess. But anyway, so that's the plan with my limiteds. And I'll be totally honest, I have no idea where this is going to go content wise. I don't think I'm going to start doing like lineup builder videos and rewards, but like maybe we do. Maybe that on Mondays we check in on the lineups. We'll see. I do like to look ahead, so maybe we'll look ahead, see where we can fit in holes. But I genuinely believe that in order to compete at the limited level, you need to have powerful cards. Like, you need to have good cards, obviously, but you also need to have powerful cards. And the collection bonuses are the easiest way to get an advantage over people who are not willing to do that. And obviously, it increases the amount that you have to put in order to win back. But I'm confident that I'll be able to do that with these cards, and hopefully you guys will come along for the ride, and we'll see. Michael said, "When is the best time to buy MLS cards?" I don't know. Maybe when they come out. It's possible when they come out. I think the tricky thing with MLS is you really don't want, like, you're going to end up with defenders and goalkeepers from MLS because they are going to be part of collections, but I don't think playing MLS goalies and defenders is the best way to win Challenger. I think it's a combination of these European guys that I have, who probably, maybe we do the Ghent back, goalkeeper defender with some of the elite MLS cards. But I think you'll definitely have to build MLS collections around those elite cards, because just buying one, just buying Cucho and not buying everybody else from the Columbus Crew, if he stays, is going to be enough. Victor said Kalina at home was great last season, which I pulled up here. That is very good. I mean, a 60 average is good, but like, MLS changes so much year to year that I would much rather just focus on, like, do I want to build a New England Revolution collection to get Carlos Gil to 10% on day one? So we'll see. We'll see. Zhao said, the age of the players you are buying, is the age of the players you're buying a decisive factor? Galatasaray is a good stack, but almost all over 30 or near. No, because I'm only thinking of this year. Realistically, I am only thinking of this year. Anything after this year is just to, like a bonus. Whoops, hold on. How much are Galatasaray cards? Osherman is 40. Oh, that's funny that Peck shows up. Hold on. It's just because Gala was Galaxy. 40 for Osherman, 19 for Sarah, Sanchez 17, Akun 16, Mertens 13. It doesn't seem very cheap, to be honest. Like in the realm of limited cards. Now again, like if you look at the ones that I did buy, like they were much, much cheaper. Like Ghent, and maybe they're higher now. But like you get to the 10th card and they're all like under $2. D1872 said, looking in MLS for this season to put into Classic to try and win cards for next in-season limited was a plan of mine. Probably terrible. I just think it's going to be very, very competitive. Like, I think it's going to be very difficult to win cards regularly in Challenger Classic once MLS comes back. Ryan said, buy Carlos Heel, train him, triple level up, boom, 12% before the season even starts. Yeah, exactly. Like that's how it works. Yeah. Oh, and Gala just conceded. GG's. Yeah, it's guys like that. But you need the full collection, obviously, with Carlos Heel, and there's probably nobody else on New England that you want. Like that was the reason why I was okay doing it with Ghent and Genk, is that I felt, and Utrecht was probably a mistake, but I thought I was running hot on special editions and they just got me. But there are multiple players there that I would use in different lineups, not necessarily all together. And like a team like New England, like I don't know who else you would even play other than Carlos Heel. Like that's why Columbus makes a lot of sense, because you have like Cucho and Diego Rossi, and why the Galaxy made sense before Peck and Pooch and Mickey Yamain, and like you got to be somebody willing to like look into the depths of the team and how many cards you're willing to use. Now, granted, there aren't going to be that many cards you're using. Like you're not going to buy a collection and be like, wow, there are 10 guys I can play every single game week. Like it's just not going to work out that way. But for certain MLS guys, like somebody mentioned, I think maybe it was Haber, has a Whitecaps limited collection, and he was like, I hate it. Like, I don't know why I have this. And it's like, I think it's a full collection, but he probably has like a 15% gold right now, right? Although maybe he didn't train it that much. Let me see. Was it? Yeah, the Whitecaps. Here we go. So like having sorry, forgot you guys couldn't see. So like this is his Whitecaps collection. Oh, so he's missing Joe Bendick and Giuseppe Bovolina. But this Ryan Gauld card, yeah, 16%. I assume that'll lose the 5%, right? Yeah. Like it'll be 11% when the season starts as like a classic card. Like that's what you want. You don't want a Gauld. Let's see. See how many 16% Gaulds are even out there. That's a high number, 16%. So they're 22. Where's Haber's here? No, it's literally right here. So 22. And again, all of these will like lose it. And some of these are at like 17%, 17 and a half. So that's 12 and a half, like when the season starts as a classic card. So I'm just saying, like, who was that? D1872. Like these are the cards that you're competing in. So if you go out and buy a Gauld now, it's way behind. Like way behind. Graham said, Atlanta trying to buy Arthur Cabral. He could smash with Miranchuk. Yeah, Miranchuk. Ryan said Miranchuk didn't get in-season cards. It makes me sad, but he'll have classics, or he'll have in-season cards next season. Toby said, how do we feel about the fact that we might go into the MLS season without Steve Clark? It makes me sad. Agreed, Toby. Totally agree. Might have to drop a paycheck on 2025 Guzan and friends. Yeah, I mean, it's I see the benefit. The difficulty with MLS is generally people buy them for the summer, but from, let's call it March 1st, because I think they start like end of February. From March 1st until mid-May, like they're competing against all the European cards. And then when you get to the summer, Challenger is just MLS, and so the prize pools are lower. But it feels like such a huge benefit from a limited side to get that full collection like right away. And you're obviously going to pay a lot more at the beginning of the season. And so I don't know how I'm going to end up treating it. I think you could maybe maybe you buy the players you want at first. So you get your Carlos Heel, you get your Cucho, whoever, and then just build up the collection over time, because like once the collection gets to 5%, like you're set. And waiting the 90 days is also an option, but like they're going to be 8, 9, 10% new season MLS cards that are competing against 12, 13, 14% European cards for a while. Ryan said, I think February 24th is opening day. Yeah, it could be. I know it's somewhere around there. Toby said the elite midfielders in MLS can compete against anyone, though. So, Toby, like, I agree. But, like, that's sort of the point is, would you rather go into a game week with a 6% Evander, although who knows if he sticks around, a 6% Lucho Acosta, another one who's probably gone. Do we have to use Carlos Heel? Messi? I wanted to put in a different class, but Hartle, Rusnak, whoever. 6% of those versus like the 13, 14% Veerman that you're going to have to face. Like, which one do you want? Maybe the answer is both. But yeah, the new season MLS cards are going to be really interesting to see what happens, because people don't like have to get them to play Challenger. Like, there are plenty of Challenger cards that you can play already. And are scores even that high early on in MLS? Because it's still a little cold out where a lot of people play. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. I would have loved to like have the confidence that the Argentina cards will come out and we can kind of see what happens with that, because Contender is like very much going on right now. And so that would be like the first opportunity to see like what happens when a new competition essentially launches, when Contender Challengers are already going on. I mean, we had that a little bit at the beginning of the European season because MLS was happening, but this is like we all get the game now, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I hate that phrase. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Dean said, I'm going to buy Chicago Fire in season. Boy's going to cook. Good luck with that. Oof. So yeah, I mean, those are the considerations that you have to have with Challenger and buying the new MLS cards, and can you compete without them? And when you do decide to compete with them, because at some point, if you play Challenger, like you're going to have to get MLS guys, or you take the summer off. But at what point do you start looking at the collection and being like, man, I need to keep doing this or keep building out? And it also makes me wonder if we'll see more special edition cards like this coming from Sorare, because like from my own perspective, like what I experience in this game is this Christmas time advent calendar, get 50% of a special and new special edition cards. Like, it worked. I'm buying cards where I wouldn't, like, if you told me 3 months ago I was going to be buying a ton of in-season limited cards in December, I'd be like, why would, like, what happened? And now I'm like all in, and they got me. Luke said, this is why single leagues seem better to me. I have an LAFC stack. They played basically in 2 feet of snow in a blizzard and got battered. What does that have to do with single league, though? Oh, that game gets canceled in the Prem, La Liga, or Bundesliga? Yeah. Ryan said, I feel like the promo or lack thereof will be so relevant to participation and prices. We all love lottery tickets. Totally agree. I mean, I would assume that early access MLS cards would come with whatever the 10% of a special edition or whatever they did for the early access European cards. I assume it's the same. But we should see Argentina before that. We should. I don't think we will, but we should. And the same with J League and K League. I mean, they'll be out around the same time. Deanne said, all these so rare promotions made me spend more money. Now my kids won't get any gifts. Well, you're just selfish for not giving them so rare cards. 'Tis the season. Come on. Anyway, that's all I got today. I can't believe I went as long as I did, given what happened earlier. So thank you to everybody for coming. I expect this to be a regular show. I don't know what day or time or whatever, but I'm going to try to keep doing this so that I can track kind of what I'm doing, maybe just be more accountable for my limited play. And oh, Steven just checked in. Come on, Steven. Anyway, so yeah, I'm hoping you guys will join me on this journey. I hope the content is good because that's why you guys are here. Just to be entertained or educated. And let's be honest, it's probably more entertainment than education, but that's what all of it is. So thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. If there's anything that you would like me to look into or specific topics about limited cards that you want me to touch on, leave a comment below, hit me up on Twitter or Discord or wherever you can find me. And yeah, let's see what we can do. So thanks for coming and remember to get those steps in.